Howdy everybody, and welcome to another Puppet Storytime. As always, I'm Daron, and with me is my new friend and co-host of the day, Roger the Chicken.
Howdy, yokes!
Don't you mean howdy, folks?
Yeah. I just thought of greeting them with Buck, a wordplay on eggs. You know, it's one way to keep your sunny side up.
With egg jokes? Doesn't that seem a little over easy?
Ma! Not really. I figured it would be a crack-up. So, what story are we going to read?
Well, Roger, the story we're going to read today is called Coop Troop by Mary Henderson and illustrated by Alona Baulina.
That wouldn't be the story about 3 hens who outwit a hungry fox, would it?
Why, yes, it would. Wow, very good. So, are you ready to read the story?
I'm all but cooped up to hear it.
Are you ready to read the story? Great! Then let's read Coop Troop. Something the matter, Roger?
Nothing. Just a little chicken.
Very funny, Roger. Oh, brother. Coop Troop, written by Mary Henderson and illustrated by Alona Baulina. They say birds of a feather flock together, but such was not the case in one particular chicken coop. It was true that Josephine, Harriet, and Scout were the best of hens, but they couldn't be more different from one another. Josephine was loud and proud. There wasn't a fowl in town who didn't know it when she laid an egg. She screamed her song triumphantly at dawn. The other chickens would groan. It got tiresome, even for a few old hens. Harriet was a spry girl and an expert escape artist. She could pick her way out of any tough spot, including escaping the coop when the big man was putting out new straw. When he would open the door to the nesting boxes, she'd scramble through that opening faster than you could fry an egg. A few determined laps around the coop with the big man chasing after her, and she'd dart back inside as if nothing had ever happened. Harriet so enjoyed that song and chicken dance they had with one another. The big man, on the other hand, did not. And then there was Scout, quiet, cuddly, and the best of hiders. She had survived the great hawk dive of 2022 by nestling her little self in a bush for hours before the big man finally found her. There wasn't a predator around who hadn't heard of her brilliant camouflage abilities, and she intended to keep it that way. And nearby, watching unbeknownst to the hens, there was a fox, a very hungry fox, who was just waiting for his moment of opportunity. You would think a fox to be more clever than a chicken, but things aren't always what they're cracked up to be. One bright morning, Josephine had just delivered one of her loudest and proudest egg songs ever when Harriet and Scout groaned in unison.
"Oh, don't be all broody about it,"
Josephine stated.
"If you got it, flaunt it, I always say." "She really enjoys ruffling our feathers,"
Harriet muttered to Scout.
"I sure could use a chase around the coop with the big man right about now. He's no spring chicken, you know."
Scout fluffed her feathers and cuddled up to her fellow hen.
"No worries, dear. She only thinks she rules the roost. But she couldn't last a day without us, you know."
Harriet nodded in agreement and let out an unexpected "Bark!" The big man was coming. The 3 hens raced to the door to greet him.
Don't get too excited, ladies. I'm just here to fix that broken feeder right quick.
He squeezed his way into the coop, worked his magic, and left again as quickly as he had come. In his hurry, and to the hen's horror, he did not realize the latch on the door hadn't fastened all the way.
"The door's unlocked!"
Harriet cried. The big man heard.
"Oh, don't be such a chicken.
Josephine scolded her friend.
He'll be back to properly latch the door and all will be well. Not before I officially become a fox in the hen house.
The watchful fox thought to himself. Later that night, the girls were nestled together atop their roosting bars when they were awakened by a rather unwelcome sound. Snap! Went the twig. Went the hens.
What was that?
Scout asked, peering out the coop window just in time to see the orange flash of a foxtail.
It's a fox,
she whispered to the others.
What will we do? We will do precisely what we need to do to fend for ourselves. That's what,
Josephine explained.
But we mustn't put all our eggs in one basket. Now shake a tail feather and come near, girls. I have an idea.
She huddled with the other hens while the fox advanced toward the coop. At last, the hens had formed their battle plan. On approaching the coop, the fox was startled to see it empty.
That's odd,
he thought.
Just a moment ago, there was a delicious triple chicken family basket pacing these walls.
He approached the coop door to find it ajar.
What luck!
He cried. Just then, a rustling sound from within the nesting boxes causes the fox's ears to perk up.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner,
the fox thought to himself as he crept cautiously toward the boxes. The scream came from overhead, nearly frightening the fox out of his fur. With the speed of an F-16 fighting falcon, there was Josephine in all her glory, honing in on the fox from a perch high above, nails outstretched and ready to strike. She was a terrifying flurry of black and white feathers.
Eeyow!
The fox jumped sky high only to receive a sharp chicken toe to the eye. Whimpering, the fox refused to wave the white flag of surrender just yet. Catching his one good eye, Harriet ran past the fox, and the fox sprinted after her. Round and round the coop she ran. Round and round the coop the fox followed. Exhilarated, Harriet thought to herself,
This is even better than a dance with the big man.
Without warning, Harriet darted off, leaving the fox bewildered as to her whereabouts. Puzzled and exhausted, he desperately searched for his prized chicken meal.
2 hens had gotten away, but hadn't there been one more?
The fox thought to himself. A rustling sound made the fox's ears perk up in attention. In the blink of one good fox eye, a stealthy scout burst forth from her hidden fortress amongst the brush, a startling blob of sticks and leaves. She screamed wildly.
Eeyowie!
Screamed the fox in terror. He backed up into a tree stump, reared up on his hind legs, and bumped his head on a limb. The fox had had enough. Hen-pecked and half-blind, he decided it was his time to surrender. And so the hungry fox slinked away, madder than a wet hen.
Hooray!
The happy hens shouted in unison.
We did it! Your sounding the alarm was quick thinking.
Harriet smiled at her loud friend Josephine.
I couldn't have done it without your incredible goose chase.
Josephine returned the compliment to her swift companion. Yet both hens agreed that nothing compared to their friend Scout's amazing, all but terrifying entrance from the brush.
That fox sure was a bad egg.
Scout boxed sheepishly while cuddling up against her fine feathered friends. And this time, all 3 of them sang the loudest and proudest victory song you've ever heard. And that brings us to the end of our tale, Coop Troop.
Gee, that was a great story. And I sure am glad those hens outsmarted that hungry fox.
Me too. And even though we had fun reading the story, I think we learned something too.
What would that be, Daron?
Well, when good guys or gals work together as a team, they can overcome anything. And that's no yoke.
But boy oh boy, you catch on quick with the egg jokes. By the way, what did the rooster do to impress the hen?
I don't know. What?
He wrote poultry for her.
Very good, Roger. Very good. Well, I guess this episode has come to a boil. A hard boil, that is. We hope you enjoyed the story, folks. And right now, Roger and I have to make like eggs and scramble. But I'll see you again next time.
And we hope your day is filled with stories to tell.
Take care now.